Welcome back to my channel. It's me, and today we're going to talk about one of DC's strangest superhero teams, the Doom Patrol. Now, the Doom Patrol was created in 1963 by Arnold Drake, Bob Haney, and Bruno Pignari, so it predates the creation of the Titans by a good 4 years. But despite this, I feel that the Doom Patrol have always been kind of seen as the second stringers to the Titans. The Titans being the young superheroes who are more popular because they're younger, which is an interesting dynamic. Now, you can definitely argue that if the Doom Patrol were a little bit better marketed or given better stories, they would probably be more popular. But there's no denying that the Doom Patrol are a very different kind of team, and it's their differences that make them so compelling. You see, the original Doom Patrol wasn't even called the Doom Patrol. Instead, the name referred to the group's leader, a man known as Mr. Nobody, whose real name is Niles Calder. Mr. Nobody was a scientist who was injured in a car accident, which left him paralyzed from the waist down. He would then put together a group of people who also had disabilities and deformities, but who possessed extraordinary abilities. Together, they became the Doom Patrol. The thing is, though, despite the fact that the Doom Patrol had some pretty cool ideas behind them, they weren't exactly a huge hit with readers. In fact, when Showcase number 27 came out, the story was so unpopular that it actually led to the cancellation of the series after just 2 issues. This wouldn't be the last time the Doom Patrol would be cancelled, but it was the beginning of a pattern of low sales and infrequent appearances. In the 1970s, the Doom Patrol would get a couple of revivals, but each one was short-lived. Finally, in 1987, the team would be given another shot at a revival, this time in the pages of Legends. The problem was, while this version of the team would go over better with fans, it still wasn't enough to warrant its own series. That didn't stop the Doom Patrol from continuing to pop up in other series, though. They made guest appearances in other comics, and over the next decade and a half, they'd become cult favorites among fans of the DCUniverse. In 1999, writer Grant Morrison would take over the Doom Patrol series. Now, Morrison really wanted to push the boundaries of what the Doom Patrol could be, and he did this by giving the series a tone of weirdness and dysfunction. See, previously the Doom Patrol had followed a similar formula to that of other superhero books. There was a bad guy, the Doom Patrol would fight said bad guy, and in the end, justice would prevail. But Morrison scrapped this formula in favor of focusing on the characters themselves. The Doom Patrol was now a book about a group of people who were broken in one way or another, both mentally and physically, and the stories revolved around their interpersonal relationships and how they coped with their disabilities. This new direction for the series proved to be very popular and led to the Doom Patrol becoming one of the most acclaimed series of the late 90s. The thing was, though, that popularity didn't necessarily translate into sales, and so after 47 issues, Morrison would leave the series. Luckily, though, he passed the torch to another writer named Richard Case, who would continue the Doom Patrol legacy. So what makes the Doom Patrol such an interesting team? Well, let's start with their roster. As I said earlier, the Doom Patrol isn't your typical team of superheroes. In fact, I would say that the only thing that unites this team is their willingness to help others. Over the years, the team has been composed of a lot of different members, but 2 of the most important members are Crazy Jane and Dorothy Spinner. Crazy Jane has 64 distinct identities, each of which possesses their own unique abilities. Some of these abilities include super strength, speed and durability, as well as the ability to fly and control the weather. She also has a sentient motorcycle named Buzz. When Jane is in a calm state, her personalities reside in a pocket dimension within her mind. However, when she becomes upset or stressed, these personalities begin to surface. Dorothy Spinner's backstory is one of the most tragic of any hero in the DC Universe. You see, Dorothy was born in the town of Woodhaven, where she grew up believing that she was an ordinary girl. However, everything changed during the annual Founders' Day celebration, where Dorothy saw the parade float, representing her family's legacy, the Spinner Sisters Carnival. As she approached the float, she heard a voice inside her head that told her to crawl inside. Once she did, the float came to life and took her away. Eventually, Dorothy realized that she had special powers and that she was destined to become the new leader of the Spinner Sisters Carnival. However, she refused to accept this fate and instead tried to escape. She was eventually found by Cliff Steele, aka Robot Man, who took her in and raised her as his own daughter. Some of Dorothy's powers include the ability to manipulate reality, as well as the power to communicate with and control animals. She can also cast powerful spells and has a vast knowledge of magic. Dorothy is a very powerful sorceress, but she is also very inexperienced and naive. She often doesn't understand the consequences of her actions and can be manipulated by those who are more powerful than her. Nevertheless, Dorothy is a very brave and compassionate person. She is always willing to help those in need, even if it puts her own safety at risk. Another important member of the Doom Patrol is Cliff Steele, better known as Robotman. Cliff was once a famous race car driver, but he was involved in a serious accident that left him horribly disfigured. He rebuilt himself as a cyborg and took on the identity of Robotman. Some of Cliff's abilities include superhuman strength, speed and durability. He also has a variety of weapons hidden in his body, as well as a highly advanced computer system that allows him to interface with other machines. Now, despite his abilities, Cliff is not without weaknesses. He is constantly plagued by nightmares and flashbacks to the accident that left him disfigured. He is also very impulsive, and often puts himself in danger without thinking things through. Still, Cliff is a very loyal and courageous person. He is always willing to put himself on the line to protect the other members of the Doom Patrol. Lastly, we have Larry Traynor, also known as the Fog. Larry was a test pilot who was caught in an explosion that turned him into a cloud of gas. He can control this form at will, allowing him to fly, turn invisible, and even pass through solid objects. However, he is unable to interact with anything while in this form, and he also cannot speak. Furthermore, he is slowly losing his humanity and becoming more like a cloud of gas over time. But despite his limitations, Larry is a very valuable asset to the Doom Patrol. His ability to fly allows the team to travel quickly, and his ability to turn invisible allows them to sneak around undetected. Larry is also a very calm and level-headed person. He is often able to keep the other members of the Doom Patrol focused when they are in danger. So what's next for the Doom Patrol? Well, since DC's decision to stop submitting the title to the Comics Code in 1977, allowing for more mature themes and complex storylines, the series has gone through several different creative teams. Each one has brought their own unique vision to the book. In recent years, the Doom Patrol has become one of DC's most critically acclaimed series. The current run is set in the dark and gritty DCUniverse and follows the team as they deal with the aftermath of a global catastrophe. The series is known for its strong writing, complex characters, and thought-provoking storylines. So what do you think of the Doom Patrol? Do you think they're a good fit for the DC Universe? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to check out my others on superheroes who aren't liked by their teammates. Until next time, I'm out of here.